everybody and welcome to Hannah's Happy Space. My name is Hannah and thank you for joining me here today. Just to let you know quickly who I am if you've not been here before. Like I say, my name is Hannah. I live in the southwest of England, down in Devon on the edge of Dartmoor. I live with my sister Cara and her son Sebi, my nephew. And that's me. Not a huge amount else to tell. If you've been here before, thank you so much for returning. If you're new, I hope you like what you see and stick around for some other videos as well. I can't remember exactly when I was last here with a podcast. I don't have my book to tell me. I have done at least one video in between. I can't remember, it might be two. I briefly showed you my mantelpiece. Lost for words this morning. That's a good start, isn't it? Yeah, my mantelpiece with all my autumn makes on. I am going to run through those again quickly for those of you who haven't seen that one. What else have I got to tell you? Whew, not a huge amount has been going on over here. That's a bit boring, isn't it? I mean, if you've been here before, you know Sebi is the one with the active life rather than myself. He's just finished half term. He's gone back to school this morning. Today is Monday the 30th of October, so he's just had a week off school. He's been out and about. He's been off here, there and everywhere with family. He also has finished one of his golf competitions, his mini tour, where he placed seventh this year. He has won it the last 2 years, but obviously competition was higher this year perhaps. He was happy with where he positioned, so he was pleased with that. He's got football training back again now, so poor old Cara has to go and stand in the cold watch an hour's training every week. Yeah, so he's gone back to school today. So back to normal school life until the Christmas holidays come round. What have we been up to, me and Cara? Not a huge amount, I have to say. There's been a lot of house cleaning going on. In the odd trips out. The weather, let's get round to the weather, as I'm a British podcaster. The weather's been pretty horrific. If you've been in the UK, you know we've had a storm recently. That was Storm Babette. That was not very long ago, so we haven't been able to do a huge amount out and about. And I have seen on the weather that another storm is coming in this week. I think this week, it wasn't next week. Storm Kieran is on the way, so you know, another bout of wet and windy weather that we're quite used to being on the edge of the moors, I have to say. I think that's probably enough gas bagging about myself. You haven't come to hear my life story, you've come to see the crafting that I've been up to. Now, I'll be honest with you, I have got quite a bit to show, but I haven't been doing a huge amount of crafting. I keep looking this way because it's where all my bits and pieces that I'm going to show you are. Yeah, so like I say, I showed you those bits on the mantelpiece. I'm pointing like that because it's behind you, my mantelpiece. I showed you those bits and I'm going to show you those again in a little bit more detail because it was quite a little, you know, quite a fast little video. And I'm just looking at my list. There hasn't been a huge amount of other completions. I've got bits from the mantelpiece. I'm just looking at my notebook. It's underneath you. I've got a pair of, oh, you can see them just here. That's, okay. Oh, a spoiler. Quick, hide them. That's been an ongoing sort of quite long pair of socks that are pretty much finished. I have a crochet project to share. Oh, no, and two finished crochet projects to share with you. I've only got 2 whips to show you. One is a very old, long-standing whip that I was planning to start in my very first podcast, which is over 2 years ago now, I think. So that's been picked up. And then I've got a couple of little bits of incoming to show you. And then at the end of the video, I've got a shop update to share with you. I thought I'd add it on the end of this video rather than doing a separate video this time, but it will be right at the end, so those of you who aren't interested in that can leave me before then. Oh, before we get on to what I've made, let me tell you what I'm wearing. This I have shown before on the podcast. This is one of my Tolsta sweaters. This is the Tolsta in the fingering weight. This is a pattern by the Cray Bear, and her real name has completely slipped my mind. Rebecca Clow, is that right? Clow? I never not sure how to pronounce it, sorry. All the details of everything I talk about will be down below anyway. So this is my, like I say, fingering weight Tolsta, completely bog standard, haven't made too many alterations to it. I did a different type of increase than in the pattern. This one has been knit using, the black is a Stylecraft 4-ply 100% acrylic, and the coloured stripes are Haunted House by Floof Fibres. There we go, there's that one. Let's get on to what we're doing. I'm very quickly going to have a sip of water because I've rambled on. Okay. Right, so let's start with some autumnal makes. A few you've seen before, like I say, but just a bit more of a close-up for you. Right, the first one we've got is a crochet project. This is my pumpkin. Come a little bit closer so you can see the knobbles. There we go, bobble stitch on this one. You can see all the textures. So this pumpkin is a free pattern that you can find online. It is from the designer called the Curious Papaya. Like I say, free pattern on her website. And I've crocheted this using the main colour. I can't remember the name of this one, and I've misplaced the ball band, but it's a Rainbow Fusions double knit hand dyed skein of yarn. And then just for the top bits, I've used some bits of Stylecraft from my stash, a black and a pink and an orange. Yeah, so that is my first autumnal make. Really love all the texture on this pumpkin. There we go. That's the first one. Like I said, I'm just going to quickly run through these. Next one is another crochet project. Let me get her hat on. Here we go. I really like this one. The pattern is called Xenia, the Endearing Witch. And she was an Ami-along ran by amigurumi.com. And the designers, so it's two designers that have made this pattern. They are Granny's Crochet Hook and Guilame, I think that's how it's pronounced. Like I say, all the details will be down below. So yeah, it was Nami along that ran for the end of September or the beginning of October. I'm not 100% sure. I know they release Ami alongs all the time throughout the year. But it just means it's an exclusive pattern. You know, you get it before everybody else. I think this pattern is now available to buy from the designers. Her hat comes off, so I keep fiddling. And there were two designs with this one. You could do toadstool dress or pumpkin dress. And I went for the pumpkin dress. And the pumpkin dress determined her name. I showed this to Sebi when I was making it, and he said, I love the pumpkins. She looks like Davina. So Davina from Little Workroom Crafts, I did mention this in my last video, our little witch has been lovingly named Davina, and you can see she's a very happy, friendly witch, but she loves her pumpkins. This has been crocheted using Shepier's Katona, complete mind blank. Shepier's Katona 4-ply. Apart from her skin colour, because I got all these colours out of stash, but I didn't have a skin tone in the Katona, so I went with Rikarumi, and this was crocheted on a 2.5mm crochet hook. So yeah, that's her, and to go alongside with her, pop her over this side, is her bubbling cauldron. As you can see, it's black 4-ply cotton, so that was fun. And then on the top is this green bubbling potion that she's making. I didn't put the handle on there, honestly, because I couldn't be bothered. I just wanted to get it finished and up on the display. She also had a coat pattern to go with her, which I tried and gave up on because I couldn't, it wouldn't fit. For some reason, you know, it just wouldn't fit. I don't know if it was me, I don't know if it was pattern, I don't know what, but I'm quite happy with her like this. If I'd have made her coat, it would have covered up some of her lovely bright pink dress and pumpkin. So that is Davina, the Endearing Witch. I'm going to try and just stay still for a minute, because I'm really, really hoping YouTube will finally pick me a decent thumbnail. For those of you that don't do YouTube, as in create videos, when you edit your video and then you load it up onto YouTube, it gives you 2 or 3 photos to choose as the picture for your video, and mine are always dreadful. And I always say, I'm going to try and get a good picture, try and get a good picture. Never. I end up with, you know, looking over here, weird faces, face covered up with whatever I'm showing, and I always have to end up going through and screenshotting a picture from the video and doing it that way. So fingers crossed something good will come from this video. So that is my witch. So let's move on. Then we have another crochet project that I showed you when it was a work in progress. This is Heckle the Crow. Sort his hat out. Again, another hat that is removable. I think the pattern tells you to sew it on, but you know, it means that he can stay out longer after Halloween if needs be without his hat on. So yeah, Heckle the Crow. This is another free pattern, and this one is from Sarah D Crochet. So it's a free pattern on her website. Just sort of straighten him up a little bit. There he is. And he has been crocheted using various, excuse me, various acrylic double knits that I had in stash. I just went through my boxes and picked out the colours that I wanted. So that's that one, all complete. Ooh, coming off the screen. So that is, who did I say was Heckle the Crow. There we go. So that's that one finished too. One more crochet object from the mantelpiece, and oh, it's got a bit squished. This one I also showed you when it was a work in progress. This is my Acorn House. Now, if you remember, if you saw it in the last, did I show it in the last video? It must have been when it was work in progress. I was saying that this pattern actually called for, I think it was an Aran weight yarn. I think was a worsted. It definitely wasn't what I used. And I wanted a little house for up on there. So I went with 4-ply. This again is Shepier's Katona. Yep, all of that is Shepier's Katona this time. Can't quite see, there we go, one more little puff of smoke coming out the chimney. When I showed you this, it was all in pieces, so now it's all been all glued together. So that is my, balances nicely there. That is my little Acorn House, and that is a pattern from Gypsy Queen. There's that one. And then lastly from the mantelpiece are my frogs. Now, I have shown frogs before, a frog on here before. He has come up away from the mantelpiece where he normally lives and has gone up on top of this shelving unit up here. He had a little rainbow jumper. I showed him quite a while ago, but I knew I wanted a new one for up there. So started off, so cute. So the first one I made for the display was this little guy. Get him a bit closer. So he has been knit with, if I turn him that way, you can see a bit different colours in him. That's a bit of hand-dyed yarn that I dyed that's been, you know, hanging around for a while. These are double knit, sorry. Yeah, I've done these in double knit. The pattern, if you buy the actual pattern, is she does, I think, a 4-ply held double with a mohair or something like that. Yeah, double knit I went for. I have done, no I haven't, the other one that I did before was 2 strands held together, which made quite a big bit, not lots bigger, just a bit bigger than this frog. But yeah, I do want to make a little 4-ply one because that would be very cute. This one as well, actually, I have put wires in the legs and the arms. I just used those little plastic covered wires, garden ties. We had quite a few of those knocking around, so I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. And I didn't knit round them like it suggests in the pattern. I was, because they're very thin, threaded them onto a needle and managed to sort of poke them through. But I mean, it's not the sturdiest of wires to use. You know, I'm sure if you've seen these on Instagram, there's people who make amazing stop motion videos and things with them, and you could stand this wouldn't be strong enough for it to stand. This is what I'm trying to get around to. So yeah, this is the first frog, and he is wearing his pumpkin sweater. So the frog pattern and the sweater are separate patterns. You buy those separately. They're from the same designer. They're from Claire Garland, who is Dot Pebbles on Instagram. Again, everything's going to be linked down below. The pattern for the sweater is just a plain sweater. There are loads of patterns and things out there and ideas on Instagram. If you put the hashtag in for this guy, there's loads of it. The pumpkin design, I just roughly drew out on some square paper, and that has been duplicate stitched or Swiss darned over the top. So it's quite a nice simple shape. And while I was making this one and looking through bits and bobs trying to find things, I came across a bag with some body parts. For this little guy who looks a little bit different to this one. He looks a bit sad. I'm not sure what happened with his mouth. You see? Slightly happier frog with a big sad frog. This again is hand-dyed, my own hand-dyed double knit, that bit that was left over from another project. So yeah, it was all sort of body parts when I found him out. I think he might have just been actually a body, because the bits aren't knit separately, they're attached as you go. I won't say too much because it's a paid for pattern, but yeah. Hold on, let me turn him around. So he's a little yellow frog. Again, sweatshirt pattern, and then I've Swiss darned a toadstool on the front for his autumnal jumper. But I mean, I don't know if I'll get around to knitting more frogs when the Christmas season comes around. I don't know why I'm keeping it quiet, because I've seen it all over the shops already. But let's get Halloween out the way first, shall we? Obviously, I'll be able to make them Christmas jumpers with some Swiss darning is where I'm getting at, because I'm not fiddling around with colour work. I'm trying to juggle these two so you can see them together. There they are. I love them. As soon as I saw these, they've been out for some time now, but as soon as I saw them, on, you know, all over Instagram and everywhere. My mum bought me the pattern actually. And I've never done knitted toys before these. And they're super quick. So if you haven't done them before, they're really easy. The pattern is really well explained. They are a little bit fiddly because you can see they've got little tiny arms and legs and things. But give it a go. The pattern isn't that expensive. You don't have to do a jumper for them. Just do the little frogs. These two have got their bellies are knit in the same colour as their bodies. In the pattern, you can do that in a different colour, which I have done with my other frog. But yeah, there's loads of things you can do with them, as in colours and texture and all that kind of thing. So as you can tell, I rather like these. So here's my little pair of autumn frogs. So there they are. Lovely. Okay, that is all the bits that you might have seen a little bit of before, if you've watched the autumn video that I popped up. So those are those finished objects, basically. I don't know where I was going with that one. Okay, breathe, have a drink. Let's see where we're going next. Okay, so knitting. You've already seen them because they were in the shot at the beginning. Let me tuck these ends in. So I go to a weekly knit group. If you've watched, let's get her mentioned. She hasn't been mentioned yet. If you watched Ruth Loves to Knit, you will have heard her mention her knit group. I am part of that same knit group. We go to a lovely cafe in Oakhampton, and when we're all there, there's maybe 8 of us, I think, at most at the moment. And we drink lots of lovely coffee or whatever we like, and we eat some nice cake or breakfast. I try not to eat breakfast on a Thursday because then I can have lovely waffles at the cafe. And obviously, in amongst the eating and the knitting chit chat, there is some knitting going on. So I don't take anything with any complexity to it. So that means socks. So there was always a pair of socks in a bag, in my handbag, that comes to knitting with me. So they're socks that take a while. Normally socks don't take very long, but these normally take however many weeks because, I'll be honest, not a huge amount of knitting is done on them. So let me just get on and show you instead of waffling on about them. Now, I've put these in finished objects, but you will notice they are not wearable because they've got DPNs hanging out the toes. So these are, what's the best way to show you these? Move back a little bit. These are a finished pair of socks for myself. I say finished, obviously they need kitchen ring. I'll show you one a bit closer up. So this yarn is, let me just grab the ball band, it's fallen on the floor. This yarn is James C. Brett Funny Feetz 4-ply yarn, and it's a bamboo yarn. So it is 50% superwash wool, 25% polyamide, and 25% bamboo. Okay, and again, so you get this lovely pattern, really nice bright colours, and you get thick stripes followed by thin stripes. Now, it's not obvious straight away, but you can tell I don't do matching socks. I'm quite happy for them not to match as long as they look like they've come from the same, you know, they're, what do they say? They're sisters, not twins. So it's not obvious straight away, like I say, but obviously when I knit these socks, when I started them, I must have started from the inside of the ball, which I don't normally do, but I remember I started these ages ago when we went on the train to Exmouth back in the summer. Might have even been before then. So I decided to pull the yarn from the middle so that there was no chance of yarn running around the train. So let's say it was this one. So we've got the blues followed by the pinky red, then the yellow, then the pink. When I started this one, I carried on as normal like I would do and knit from the outside of the ball. So the colours go in the opposite direction. There's all that waffle just to say that. So they match, as in they're from the same ball of yarn, but they're different. So that is a almost finished pair. I'll say they're finished because they'll get kitchened up. If I'd have left them in my bag, yesterday we went down to Mum's and I'd taken these out of my bag because I'd put a new ball of wool in, thinking, oh, if I need something to do while I'm down there, I can start a new pair of socks. But if I'd have left these in, I could have kitchened them up because I kitchened four pairs of socks for Mum yesterday. She should be very, very grateful, especially because one of hers was the contrast toe she'd done was in black yarn. And it was a black glittery yarn and it was the blackest of yarns. So the kitchening stitch was fine, but when I came to try and sew the ends in inside, I couldn't see the stitches. It was very difficult, Mum. So I, deserve some sort of reward. Yes, so they will be finished, I promise. I'm running out of spaces to put things. They're going to have to go on the floor. Right, what else have I got to show you? Some crochet. Now these are two big crochet projects, so I'll try and show you the best I can, but I will put photos in of the finished objects. Let's start with this one back here because I've shown you this one before. This great big beauty is, I'm looking down again, is the Maxine Afghan, which was a crochet along, which is now finished, but the pattern is still available. But you do have to pay for the pattern now. Because it was a crochet along, it was free. And it was an 8-week part crochet along. I fell behind a bit because we had that excuse me, we had that little mini heat wave sort of in the middle of this, and there was no way I could sit with this on my lap and crochet. So I fell behind a little bit. So then I managed to, after that, did a little bit more. Then I was poorly with COVID and couldn't do any crochet or anything, any knitting. But as I started to feel better, I picked it up again and finally, over a few nights, managed to get to the final part and get this finished off. And I'll be honest with you, it's not as big as I was expecting. It's big enough, but I was thinking, oh, it's going to be double bed size. And it's not. Never mind. That's not a problem. It will come in very handy when the chilly weather comes because it is a really lovely heavy blanket. It's knit with acrylic, crocheted with acrylic, sorry, but it's still got a lot of weight to it because there is a lot of yarn. There's a lot of stitches that use up a lot of yarn. Let's say that again. A lot of crochet stitches that use up a lot of yarn. Like I say, there's no way I can show you all of it. I'm just going to cover myself up with it so you can get a little bit of a look. I've shown it before. Yeah. So where do we start? In the middle? You've seen these bits before, this sort of mandala here, and it started off as a circle and then started squaring up in these corners. I really love these corners. They remind me of peacock feathers. And then again, kept the square shape, and then onto this border. A lot of puff stitches, yarn eaters, but like I say, it's going to be a lovely cozy blankie. What else can I tell you? Oh, the yarn that I've used. So this, I have told you about this before, like I keep telling you. This is all crocheted in Stylecraft Special DK, and I chose this pastel rainbow colour. There were 2 colour suggestions in the pattern. Obviously you can do whatever colours you like, and it tells you, you know, so all the colours are, you know, labelled A, B, C, D, and it tells you which order to put them in. I ignored that and did them in the rainbow fade that I wanted. So we have, if I start in the middle, it's easier. Let's see if I can remember them all. Candy floss, apricot. Oh, good start. Lemon. It's lemon. Spring green, sherbet, wisteria. Oh, wisteria clematis. I think that's right. So yeah, I will put in some photos so you can get a look at it all. I'll just give you one last little scroll past the screen because I am quite pleased with it. Let's go up. There we go. There's the. I'm trying to get to the bottom. There we go. There we go. So that is one finished blanket to add to the pile of blankets. Cara keeps saying to me, don't, you keep making blankets. We don't need any more blankets. Get rid of some of your blankets. I don't think so. I love making blankets. There's something very comforting about making a blanket, especially a crochet blanket. And they do get used. They're all over. If you can see, there's 2 behind me. I've got one on the arm here. There's my rainbow Yuletide that's on the back of the other sofa. And then there's a nice big pile for when you're feeling chilly. You can just grab one of those and throw it over. And with the cold weather on its way, I think she'll be very welcoming of all these blankets. Plus, when it comes to incoming, I've got another blanket kit. Oh, and I've got one of my whips that she doesn't know about. So, you know, if anybody wants a blanket, I'm happy to make you one. But I am going to keep making them for myself. Nothing wrong with that. Right. One more whip. Not whip, finished object. Let me just move all these bits and bobs. Again, another larger item, but it's a cardigan for myself. So I'm a large person, therefore the cardigan is larger. Harder to show you on the screen. Let me just show you. So I had made, like I was just mentioned, the Yuletide Christmas blanket, a Christmas pattern that was released by Lucy from Attic 24. And like I say, I decided to make a rainbow version of it. If you've been here before, you know I love a rainbow. You probably can tell from around the house that's just behind me, we like bright colours. That one I've just shown you, that blanket, is what I'd say was not what I don't know what the word to use is. It's not the brightest thing I've made. It's a pastel, pale version of the sort of things that we like. Maybe, I don't really know. Anyway, I made a rainbow blanket. I had some yarn left, so I made a rainbow cardigan. So what I did is there were some bits left, and it wasn't planned. I hadn't actually planned on, oh yeah, it's going to be a cardigan. So I just thought, I'm going to crochet bits of what's left into a rainbow granny square, and it's a solid granny square. So it's the colours I've used from the blanket, like I say. So starting with the reds, going through oranges, greens, blues and purples, and I made this big square. And as I was making it, I thought, oh, what am I going to do with it? And one of my crochet cardigans was on the floor. nicely, neatly folded because I've taken it off. Not just thrown. And I thought, oh, I'll make it into a cardigan. That's where I'm going with this. Because crochet cardigans, they're quite simple in construction. That's what I'm looking for. So I didn't have a pattern. I used the sort of knowledge that I had from having made other crochet garments. This square turned out to be the same size as, actually a little bit bigger than the back of one of my other, I think I lined it up on one of my jumpers or something like that. So I knew that it was roughly the right size. Added one of these sort of grey rounds to finish it off, and then made it up basically. So I'll try and explain what I've done. And then they're really, if you are a crocheter and you've got a good knowledge of how, and you've done garments and you've got a good knowledge of how those sort of things go together, this is really achievable. And easy. I haven't done anything complicated. So solid granny squares, all trebles. There are if you haven't done this one before, there are loads of patterns out there. Attic 24, Lucy has one. I think that's probably where I originally got the pattern from. So solid granny square, could be any granny square, could be any square, could be squares joined together, as long as you make a piece that is big enough for your back. So measure it up against a jumper or cardigan you've already got. Then I have used another Stylecraft yarn, this marled grey and white yarn, and so I've done the front. So it was attached to the back, so the back was finished, turned it over and attached on the corner of the square to the middle of the square, and just have done rows of trebles. All it is, back and forth, rows of trebles until it's the same length as the square. And then fasten off and do the same on the other side. So that makes the fronts of your cardigan. So it's same size. Then on the inside, we're going to join those pieces together. So joining the fronts and the backs down that side seam, and I've just crocheted them together, slip stitched them together. It's hard to show you because the yarn's dark. Okay, up to where I wanted my sleeve to start. So you could measure it up against another item that you've got, or just try it, almost try it on. So put the fronts over, and then use stitch markers, little clippy stitch markers or quilting clips, if that kind of thing, if you've got, and just clip it together until you've got it where you want it. So double crochet up there, or slip stitch, sorry, up there, or double crochet. Then then you've got two sleeve openings, two holes. So then I went around and picked up all around that sleeve opening with trebles again, this UK terms, trebles again. And then you can see it is a very tapered sleeve. So what I did was joined here, did all the way round, and then on every round where when I got to the beginning of the round, was to decrease at the beginning of the round, decrease at the end of the round, every row. And I decreased by doing treble two togethers. So then just kept going, and because you're making it for yourself, just keep trying it on until you get to where you want it to be. So you could say, you know, if you don't want a tapered sleeve, just do straight trebles all the way. Don't do any decreasing, or do lots of decreasing at the cuff to bring it in for like a balloon sleeve. I kept going until it was, I think I did decreases every row, and then it came down to the cuff. I've added in rows of the back colours that I had left. So one sleeve is the reds through to the greens, and then the second sleeve is greens through to purple. finished off with the grey again, and did the same obviously for the other sleeve, sewed in all the ends, and then that's it. Got myself a rainbow cardigan. Sorry, fluff in my mouth. I've worn this a couple of times already. It's really nice and warm. It is all acrylic yarns, but it's all from stash. And that's sort of a good thing as well, using up stash, making any types of squares. And you could use squares on the front. You could use whatever you like to make your fronts. But you're basically constructing a back, 2 fronts, 2 sleeves. So that is my own creation, a rainbow solid granny square cardigan. I will take a photo so you can see it in a bit more detail. I've just noticed how long I've been waffling, and let's speed up a bit. So that's that one finished. Okay, let's do, like I say, I've only got 2 whips. Let's start with crochet, since we've just been talking about that. Now, in this bag, I have a selection of colours, and this, I'll put a photo in of what I'm aiming for. This is the Tea with Granny blanket, crochet blanket, and the pattern is from Made by Anita. Now, as you'll have seen on the photo of from the pattern, they're a lot more muted colours, really lovely, not very me. So I went through my stash and picked out a turquoise, which is a Stylecraft Life, and a bright pink, which I think is magenta, also a Stylecraft Life. No, it's not called magenta, that's a different one. It's called, hold on one moment. Oh no, I've just written down pink, I can't remember what it was called. Whoops. Then we've got mustard, which is a Stylecraft Special. Spice, which is also a Stylecraft Special. And magenta, which is a Stylecraft Special. And finally, all the joining colours are done in Stylecraft Life Green. So I have started on squares. Oh, I've already done more of that one. Thought I had more. So I've started with these. These are the sort of solid coloured square with the little cream accent. All the squares are done separately, and all of them are edged with the joining colour, and then it is all crocheted together at the end. That's that set. Then we have the multicoloured grannies. So there's no rush for this project. This is just when I fancy doing something. Obviously there are a lot of ends. I know ends put people off all the time with projects, and I'm the same, but I just thought I liked the pattern, not in a rush for it, and I thought there's lots of different types, break them into sets, do a couple, sew your ends in. As you know, once you've done like those, I'd done that set for, and then stopped and sewed all the ends in. So then we've got the 2 coloured granny square. That one. And finally I've started on the next batch, which are these striped granny squares. So there'll be some more of those. So that's where I'm up to with that. One little stack of granny squares, a lot more to go, but like I say, it's not a long-term project, but it's not a rush job. It'll get done when it gets done. When I fancy a bit of crochet, I'll pick them up. And it's annoying really that there's a lot of yarn to carry around to do these, because these would be quite good to do at Knit Club because they're fairly basic. but you have to take a lot of stuff with you, and that's never very easy. Lugging around all the different colours. Never mind, like I say, it will get done. Put these back in the bag. So that is Tea with Granny Blanket made by Anita. My version, brighter version. Right, okay. Last thing to show you, like I say, is a very long-term project that has not been touched for ages. Ages. And when I re-picked it up, I know what. It's lovely, absolutely lovely, but the bit I'm on is mind-numbingly boring. Right, let me tell you what it is. It is the Painting Honeycombs jacket by Stephen West. I'll pop in a picture. And that is the first thing I talked about on one of the first things I talked about on my very first podcast, that I wanted to make it. I was looking out for yarn, blah, 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 blah. I started it, like I say, it's been put away for well over a year, if not, you know, getting nearer to 2, maybe, I'm not quite sure it's that far. So, then it's a big project to try and show you. And it's a, what does Stephen call them? Modular knits. So you're not knitting, it's not like it's a knit in the round, and it's not made in pieces and sewn together. It's knitting bits and then joining on as you go. So some of you who have been here for a long time might recognise it. These are the shoulders. So that's the way Painting Honeycombs comes in. And I'm using a selection of hand-dyed double knit yarns from Miriam at the Discrete Unicorn. I'm not going to go all through all the colours and everything with you. That is on previous videos, but I will, when it's finished, which it will be, I will talk about it a bit more then. So that's the shoulders. Then you've got this striped front, and I remember putting it down at one point doing this for some reason. I must have done one whole front and then thought, well, I'll put that away for a bit, and got distracted, as you do, by shiny new cast-ons. So the front is this diagonal sort of very thin stripe, and that is knit using, I thought I had a label but I don't, that is knit using James C. Brett DK with Merino. Super soft. Only got a very small percentage of Merino in. Sorry, it's fluff. But yeah, super soft. And now I'm on the back. And the back, you might have seen this on my Instagram if you follow me over there, is a very dark charcoal grey, and is this 2-row rib pattern. Sorry, it's really fluffy. It's going to be, there we go, just about to show you. And I'm knitting the largest size, which, to be honest, having now knit more garments and know that I'm not as big as I like to knit for, and can get away with smaller sizes, I probably could have gone for, it was only a small, medium and large, I probably could have gone medium, but never mind. So there's a long, some stitches, it's a long piece, long row, lots of stitches, got my grow goose, and it's this rib repeat, and I've got a lot to do, a lot more rows, and yeah, it is not the most interesting of knitting, and it's not straightforward, you know, knit or just purls, or there is a little bit of concentration needed, not a huge amount, because it is just, you know, knit some, purl some, so it's not, you know, rocket science. But the other week when I was doing it, oh my goodness, I must have had to unknit I don't know how many rows, and that was it. Then it was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be doing this. And I thought, no, come on, it's going to be lovely when it's finished. You've got some beautiful yarns in it from Discrete Unicorn. you want the finished object, let's try and get it done. There's no time limit on it, you know, it's not got to be done by a certain date, and I'm just plugging along. And I have taken to putting a stitch marker in so I can see my progress, because it just felt like I wasn't getting anywhere with it. But I can do about 10 rows in an hour if I don't make any mistakes. And I think now I'm at the point where I can do it confidently without making mistakes and put something on the telly that's not too distracting. So, I mean, it is going to be really nice, I think, when it's done. It's hard to show you all these flappy bits. And this, that, like I say, is the shoulder, and it will carry on down the sleeve. So it will get there eventually. It's hard to show and carry around because it's all joined together and big. And right, okay, that's it. I've waffled and rambled about things I've made and things I'm making. If you've made it this far, well done. I'm very quickly going to show you a couple of incoming goodies before I get on to shop update. So, things that I have treated myself to are, told you I'd had a blanket pack. Ooh. This, the Starlight blanket pack from, bought it from the Wool Warehouse. It is a design from Lucy at Attic 24. As soon as I saw this online on Instagram, I thought I definitely have to have it. Super bright and cheerful. And I haven't done one of her square patterns before because of the ends. I'm always put off by those ends. But my mum recently did the Aria blanket, which is a pattern from her. And although, yes, the ends took forever, the blanket is lovely, absolutely lovely. So I'm going to forget about those ends and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it like I have been with the other one. Do a couple of squares, sew in the ends. There's some more of the colours. It's all Stylecraft Special DK in all these beautiful bright colours. There's all sorts flying around. It's my hair, it's wool, oh, sorry. Yeah, so this is, I'm going to do the square pattern, definitely. There is a stripe that she's done to go along with it. I don't know why I'm just like hugging it. Yeah, there's a stripe pattern to go along with it, zigzag, because if you see, the squares are, I think apart from one row looking at it, are there's V-stitch, that's what I'm trying to get to. Whew. So yeah, that's my first incoming. I don't know when I'm going to start that because obviously I've got another blanket on the go, but I can hear it in the corner saying, stop me, I'm over here, make me. So yeah, probably be sooner than later. Right, that's that one. Also had some more new, I'm growing my fringe out, as you can tell, and it's starting to get on my nerves. I should have clipped it up like I normally do. Anyway, you're not bothered with that. Some more yarn that I treated myself to is some beautiful hand-dyed yarns. It is, let me show you. Beehive yarns, which I've never used before and I've always wanted to try. And I am on a Facebook group called Yarn Snobs, which is a site for selling hand-dyed yarns only. I'll put the details down below if you're not on there. But you can sometimes get some real bargains because there are people destashing all the time. So you might get a couple of pounds off what you'd normally pay for it, all that kind of thing. And things maybe that aren't available anymore that you wanted, and it's worth looking at. So this caught my eye. Can you tell why? Neon green, neon speckles. This yarn is called Double Trouble, and it is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I thought when I was buying it, it was a 50 gram and 20 gram sock set. So the price was even better because it turns out to be 100 grams and a 20 gram sock set. So that will become something beautiful, I'm sure, once I've finished gazing at it. Lovely colours in it. So that is that one. And finally, I have got some new cross stitch patterns. You'll have seen previously that I do little cross stitch cushions to go on the mantelpiece depending on the time of year. There's some autumn ones up there at the moment, so I have collected up some wintry Christmas themed ones. I normally do 4. I've already got one I could have got out, but I think it's in the drawer or in a box. I'll have to dig it out. Anyway, it's a Plum Street Designs that I had Mum gave me as a birthday present year or 2 ago, and it's polar bears. Polar bears are one of my favourite animals, and it's polar bears stack Christmassy wintry theme. So I've got 3 more to go with that, and I have got this Hands-On Designs pattern, which is called Zinc House Row. So it's a Christmas tree with the little houses underneath. I have also got another Hands-On design, which is a classic Christmas. So it's a Merry Christmas design. And finally, this one took me a while to find actually, because it's from a few years ago. And I'd seen it on Pinterest. I thought that's definitely, I need that one. It took me ages. And this is by Little House Needleworks, and it's, try not to get the glare of the plastic. This little snowman, very sweet. All of these patterns came from one seller. So I had to Google in the end to try and Google the snowman pattern and see who sold it. And some of the other companies that I've used before, like Patchwork Rabbit, Peakside Needlecraft, Lakeside Needlecrafts, had ones that I wanted, but not, and then there were some that were out of stock. So I wanted to get them all from the same place, make it easier. I will go back to those other companies because I need the threads. These 3 came from a company called Create Nostalgia. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'll put the link down below. If you're into cross stitch and you're into these sort of, I think they're called sort of primitive designs, these are a lot of American designers. They have a huge selection on there, so I'll tag that down below as well. Okay, so that's all your regular podcasting nonsense from me. I am going to show you some new bags that are going to be going into my shop. I have a Kofi shop. Again, all linked down below. If you're interested in treating yourself to a project bag, I've got a couple of sort of your everyday fabrics, and then things are becoming festive. I have my first lot of, wobbled the camera there. My first lot of, dare I say Christmas? They're not that Christmassy, to be honest. I'd say wintry, festive bags. Yeah, so the first lot of that. So if you are leaving me now, that's absolutely fine, not a problem. I will see you again soon, hopefully. And for those of you that are staying, I will show you these bags. Let me have a quick drink of water. I will be putting all of these bags up on Instagram for you to have a look at some photos. The listings will be on Kofi, on my shop. The shop update will go live tonight at 7 p.m. So it's Monday the 30th of October at 7 p.m. And like I say, this is the first lot of wintry bags. There will be more. I have got fabric left from those, but I'll tell you that when I get to those. I'll show you the sort of more everyday bags first, and then get on to those. So this first set of bags are similar to my last update, that I have made them the size of the piece of the fabric that I have. So I've got all the details written down to give you a rough idea of their sizing. So first of all, we have this one. This is a Puffins bag. So this puffin is my favourite bird. I have kept, I kept a piece of this. I'm just looking at, oh, it's over there. I kept a piece of this for myself. And I have got one of these bags. So we've got puffins and even cuter baby pufflings. So that has coordinated fabric. So we've got black with white stars, orange cords and pink connectors, and a bright orange lining inside. Now this is more sort of a medium sized bag. This one is 10 inches high by 9¼ inches wide. So big enough for definitely for socks and small amigurumi projects, single skein shawl projects, baby clothes, hats. That's that one. Next one is a smaller bag. This is daisies with zigzags. So like I say, yeah, this is slightly smaller. This bag is 9¼ inches high approximately by 8¼ inches wide. So this is definitely a sock size bag. So you've got this blue daisy print as the main fabric, then coordinating zigzags, yellow handles, grey cords and yellow connectors, and this bright blue lining. All of the bags have a boxed bottom. They're all fully lined, like you can see, but they're not padded. Okay, then we have this under the sea bag, lovely bright colours. This one's a bigger bag again. So all these brightly coloured fish with a yellow polka dot coordinating top, red handles, blue cords with red connectors, and inside is this really beautiful brightly coloured batik fabric. I do have more of these fabrics if anybody's interested in this one and doesn't get there. So this one is 11 inches high and 8¼ inches wide, so a bit bigger again. And the last one from this set is the narwhals bag. So we've got narwhals as the main fabric, then this sort of circle design on this sort of duck egg colour, grey handles, grey cords and blue connectors, and a grey polka dot lining. And this bag is another bigger bag, sort of. So we are 12½ inches in height and approximately 9¼ inches wide. So that is your sort of everyday bags. Then we move on to the wintry bags. So there are 8 of these in this update. I do have enough fabric left from these to make another 8. Not exactly the same, they'd have different coordinating fabrics and things probably. So there will be another update with these in as well. So all of these bags are the same size. These are what sort of my standard small size. They are all 9¼ inches square. So a smaller bag. So like I say, socks, amigurumi, hats, single skein shawls, that kind of thing. So we have got, this is the winter village. So it's got foxes and hedgehogs and bears, little cabins, ice skates, poinsettias. So not hugely like in your face Christmas. Could definitely be used afterwards, you know, wintry time. Tartan at the top, green handles, green cords and connectors, and coordinating green lining. Again, all fully lined, boxed bottoms, but not padded. So that's your first wintry bag. Then we have the reindeers with poinsettia wreaths. Just get it so you can see what the fabric is. So that's the main fabric. Then this top coordinating fabric has this sort of sprig leaf design on. Got red cords and white connectors, red handles, red lining. Again, same size. So that one. Then we've got, I like this one. This is Christmassy, I'd say, because of the little Christmas hats. You've got Christmas hedgehogs, little snowflakes in between. Then we've got this sort of sprig leaf design again, white with red cords and white connectors, red handles and a red lining. That is Christmas hedgehogs. Ooh. And then from this sort of selection of fabrics, this is the final one. This is your festive foxes. Got the little hats and scarves on. Then we've got this green coordinating fabric, again with that sort of spriggy leaf design. Green cords, red connectors, navy handles and matching navy lining. Oh, that shows very dark. But yeah, matching navy lining. So they're all from the same sort of fabric collection. Then we have these, might possibly be my favourite bags yet, because I very much like fabric and I'm very tempted to keep one for myself, but I won't. Again, I have enough of this fabric left to make 4 more bags of these, but probably with different coordinating fabrics. So first of all, we have this one. So these are sort of little festive gnomes. We've got little rabbits and trees, gnomes carrying parcels, that kind of thing. This one has, you can see, Ditsy Star print on the green handles, green cords, blue connectors and matching green lining. So that's the first one from that collection. Then we have this one with the little festive gnomes again in amongst the Christmas trees and snow. This one has, oh, that's blown out a bit, a red needle cord coordinating fabric. I don't think it's going to pick it up, it's blown out a bit, but yeah, it's a very fine needle cord, that one. Red cords and green connectors, red handles and a bit more red lining. So that's that one. This is from the same collection, but not very festive. Could be used all round this one, very autumnal at the moment. This is toadstools and wild animals, forest animals. So you've got foxes and raccoons, and rabbits. So I've teamed this one up with red polka dot, red cords with green connectors, red handles, and more red for this festive season, red lining. So that's that one. And finally, we have more gnomes. Gnomes with flags and gifts and candy canes. And this one has been teamed up with the red sort of leafy design again. Green cords and red connectors. Green handles and matching green lining. So that is all the bags that will be going into the update. So 8 festive bags. Yeah, 4 sort of everyday bags. And there are a couple left on there from last time's update. Like I say, I have got some of the fabrics left. If they're not there, there will be another update coming. But I thought rather than make a huge amount and put them all on at once, I thought I'd, add them as they go. I'm looking that way because that's where my sewing machine is, out in the conservatory. I've got more bags cut out and some new fabrics and things. So there will be more to come. Okay, I think that's more than enough. You've had lots of rambling and waffling, seen some nice bits and pieces, hopefully, and have seen enough that you think you might like to come back. Yeah, so you can like the video, subscribe, that kind of thing. Leave me a comment, it's always lovely. You can follow me on Instagram, Hannah's Happy Space. I'll put the link down below. You can follow me and support me over on Kofi. You can support me there on Kofi by either donating some money if you want to. Absolutely no pressure to do that whatsoever. And also you can support the shop over there as well. Again, no pressure there either. Right, that's enough. Let's let you lovely people go and lie in a darkened room. I will see you all again soon. Not sure when, but it won't be too long. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you again soon. Bye.